Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel where my hair sticks up and is straighter than half of you guys watching.
Light work.
Today we're going to be talking about Cold War zombies and Black Ops 6. That'll get me views. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about a system that was introduced in Cold War Zombies and a system that we know is coming to Black Ops 6, even though we've only seen like literally 20 seconds of gameplay. And this system is called Salvage, a flawed system. See, that's the title.
I'm a booty legging hitman to the core. You don't have that. It's insulting that you've even approached me.
The question is, what is Salvage? Well, Salvage is a different type of currency than points in Cold War Zombies specifically. How does it work? Well, basically when you kill zombies, you get points. When you kill zombies as well, they have a potential to drop salvage. But there are two different types. There is low grain salvage, which is green, and there is high grain salvage, which is blue, which is rarer. That low grain salvage is going to allow you to buy things that are less expensive and less helpful. Things like armor 1, tier 1 and tier 2. Things like frag grenades and semtex and things that aren't going to be nearly as helpful as something else. But high grain salvage, that's going to let you get tier 3 armor. That's going to let you get kill streaks, and that's going to be letting you get self-revives. Those are going to be way more useful. Salvage was a brand new innovation into Cold War, and I think Cold War did a pretty good job at introducing it. I think that for its first time ever introducing a new system, it was done pretty well. The salvage system was looked to change up the core gameplay of zombies, really make it completely new. And the question is, did it do that in Cold War? Cold War does feel like a completely different game, and salvage is a system that allows you to unlock new things that you weren't going to get in future zombies. I can't believe the way my hair's sticking out. Holy shit. All right, I got my dream bucket hat. My fucking, it's not actually from Dream, but I am. So Salvage did have those abilities to create new, unique systems, and that's where we get into the positive of Salvage. A new currency, armor, kill streaks. These were new innovations that were the first things seen in zombies, and Salvage was a great way to introduce that, where it didn't make your points feel like you were struggling, and it added a new currency so that those features felt accessible not just to the late game but the early game as well. Because the thing is, when you start with your early game, right, because the salvage is a new system, you no longer have to balance, okay, is armor more important or is points? Is this more important or is kill streaks? Now you can distinctify both of those choices because they are two different currencies. You can grab Jug while grabbing the armor. You can get Pack Punch while getting self-revive. So Salvage does a really good job at sort of dividing those two features and making, them completely separate, which I think is a good thing. But the salvage system isn't loved by everybody. Obviously, when there's going to be drastic change, not everybody is going to be on board with this. And the community at the time, and there's still people now that didn't really enjoy the salvage system, and there's a pretty good reasons. Number one, the spawn rate. The spawn rate was not very good for the salvage system, especially for the high grain. It really felt like you ran out of salvage very quickly with the high grain, especially if you were grabbing self-revives and kill streaks, and it made those kill streaks not feel like something fun you could choose, but rather sort of like a chore you have to go and get. Another thing as well is it kind of derailed the point system overall. I mean, the point system in Cold War is not like previous games where if you shoot a zombie with one bullet, you get 10 points, you kill them, you get 60. It's very different in Cold War. It's a very different system, and Black Ops 4 as well. But the salvage system doesn't not do enough for that new point system to be warranted. And the two different rarities of salvage system can be confusing at first, but it also can make it feel like you can get access to some things and not others, because the low grain salvage feels useless when you get into the higher rounds. After you grab your 2 armor and after you do grab your low grain, sort of like, I guess if you want to buy Semtex or C4, the low grain salvage feels kind of pointless, because why would you want low grain if all the high grain is going to go towards all the kill streaks, going to go towards the self-revives, going to go towards the Gersh device, monkey bombs. That's what the high grain salvage goes to, is those better things. So it makes the low grain salvage feel obsolete. So with that bad spawn rate, and with over half of those spawn rates being that low grain salvage, it eliminates the idea of, hey, this high grain salvage is going to be something really useful and that I want to have it. And it also, like, yes, it is great to have, rarity in a zombies game where so things are feeling unpredictable. But when it's a currency system that you've definitely earned by going higher and higher in the rounds, then I feel like the earn rate isn't very good, because you should be able to get those things that you do want to get quicker, and it makes it more accessible to those newer players. So with those positives and with those negatives, and knowing that we're going to see that in Black Ops 6 because of that trailer, the question is, well, how can we change salvage? Well, I think the first thing that would be good, which I don't know if they're going to do this, is I think that they should change it to the point where there is just one rarity. Salvage is a system where it is something that should only be one, because if there is two different rarities, once again, it's gonna make that low grade rarity feel pointless, okay? Just kind of like how this bucket hat is pointless because it makes me look like I'm in heaven because of the lighting that is shooting off of it.
What you seek remains out of reach to the common man.
And another thing is, if you're going to change the salvage to be a one-tier system, then make it more useful for other things that points aren't useful for. For example, make the salvage be the thing that takes it out of the ammo crates. Even me and Expert Fusion even talked about this in a hot takes video.
3:28 a.m.
I think that he's right, and they should be changed. I think what they should be changed to is, instead of buying back with money, buy it back with salvage. That's what I think.
That would make more sense.
Because I think it is so annoying to die in zombies by just running out of ammo. And in past games, the way to combat that has been gobblegums, elixirs, or you know, and then in the older games you just have to down, and that just sucks. Because it's like, I didn't do anything to lose here. But
very true.
If you're wasting your ammo, it's gonna show a lot quicker in your salvage rather than in your points. And I feel like that should be changed, because I do like ammo crates as just a feature.
No sir, thanks. No thanks. I told you no! I said no! No! No!
And then number 3, the salvage needs to not be called salvage. It needs to have a new interesting name to it, a new interesting feature. Because let me tell you something, this was an issue with a lot of non-Treyarch games. Whenever they introduce a new system, it doesn't have any character to it, any sort of creativity to it, right? Yeah, all the other sort of core gameplay mechanic features that are in this power-up, such a unique feature, has so much character behind it. Perks, so much character behind it. Pack-a-punch, so much character behind it. Even the point system has so much character behind it, with the constant clicking on the right side, with the way the points can be sort of called blood money, while this thing, you know, bonus points being a drop. But you don't see that with the salvage system. What if it was called something better? Instead of it being salvage, what if it was dark ether crystals that you were picking up? What if it was Ethereum that you were picking up, and you were able to use these Ethereum for the same features that you were able to use? And maybe not kill streaks, but maybe dark ether powers. Something like a field upgrade, something like a kill streak, but with a dark ether twist. That would make it seem way more cool, and it would have a lot more replayability rather than just a vanilla salvage system that doesn't feel like something in zombies, but something you're gonna feel like in a Tarkov game. Overall, if I was to sum this up, I would say I'm not opposed to the salvage system. I think it is a pretty good system, but I definitely think that there's changes to be made. This is another thing that Treyarch have to nail. We talk about the other systems that they have in the game, sort of like Gobblegums, perk systems, Pack-a-Punch, all that, but what is the progression going to be like with the point system and the salvage? It's a very hot contention right now. And although there's not much of a long history in salvage, there's a long history in Treyarch doing the right things after making mistakes, and I have a feeling that this year is going to be different from last. Either way, I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you all so much for watching, and then I will see you all in the next one.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.